Giovanni Martini, that was his name once, a name that echoed through the narrow streets and sunlit fields of his childhood. Born in a small village nestled among the rolling hills of Italy, he yearned for a different life. The village was picturesque with its cobblestone paths and ancient olive trees, but Giovanni's dreams stretched far beyond its borders, a life of opportunity, a life far from the familiar fields of his homeland. He often stood in those fields, gazing at the horizon, imagining the vast world that lay beyond. He had heard tales of America, a land of promise. Stories of boundless opportunities and endless possibilities reached his ears, filling his heart with hope and excitement, a land where a man could forge his own destiny. Giovanni spent countless hours studying maps, tracing the routes that would lead him to this new world, and so he journeyed across the vast ocean, trading the warmth of the Mediterranean sun for the hope of a new beginning. The voyage was long and arduous, filled with uncertainty and anticipation. He became John Martin, an immigrant seeking his fortune. The bustling port of his arrival was a stark contrast to the serene village he had left behind. Like many before him, he found himself drawn to the vast expanse of the American West. The open plains and rugged landscapes called to his adventurous spirit. The frontier promised adventure. It promised a chance to prove himself. Each day brought new challenges and opportunities, fueling his determination. It was a call he couldn't ignore. The U.S. Cavalry offered a path forward. The posters and recruiters spoke of honor, duty, and a chance to be part of something greater. It was a chance to belong, a chance to serve his adopted country. Donning the uniform was more than just a change of clothes. It was a transformation of identity. He donned the blue uniform, a symbol of his newfound identity. The blue fabric represented his commitment and the new life he was building. Martin learned the ways of the cavalry. The training was rigorous, pushing him to his limits and beyond. He rode alongside seasoned soldiers. Each ride, each drill brought him closer to mastering the skills he needed. He learned to fire a carbine. The weapon became an extension of himself, a tool of survival and defense. He learned to survive in the unforgiving wilderness. The harsh conditions tested his resilience and adaptability. He rose through the ranks, proving his mettle with each passing day. His dedication and hard work did not go unnoticed. He became Sergeant John Martin, a testament to the melting pot of America. His journey from Giovanni Martini to Sergeant Martin was a story of transformation and perseverance. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. The horizon that once symbolized hope now loomed with uncertainty, reminding him that the journey was far from over. June 25, 1876. The sun rose over the Little Bighorn River, casting long shadows across the Montana Territory. The dawn was serene, almost deceptively peaceful, as if nature itself was unaware of the impending chaos. The air was thick with anticipation. The Seventh Cavalry, under the command of Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer, was on the move. Each soldier was acutely aware of the significance of this day, their hearts pounding in unison with the rhythm of their horses' hooves. They were hunting for glory, hunting for the elusive Sioux and Cheyenne warriors. The mission was clear, but the outcome was shrouded in uncertainty. Every man knew that today could be the day they etched their names into the annals of history. Sergeant John Martin felt the tension in the air. He had seen his fair share of battles. His eyes, hardened by years of conflict, scanned the horizon for any sign of the enemy. The weight of his experience bore down on him, a constant reminder of the fragility of life. He knew the cost of war. But this felt different. This felt ominous. The silence of the morning was unsettling, a stark contrast to the chaos he knew was lurking just beyond the next ridge. The foreboding sense of doom was almost palpable. He looked around at his fellow soldiers. Some were grizzled veterans, some were fresh-faced recruits. Each face told a story, a blend of hope, fear, and determination. The camaraderie among them was strong, forged in the fires of shared hardship and mutual reliance. All were bound by duty, bound by fate. The sense of unity was their strength, a collective resolve that would see them through the trials ahead. They were more than just soldiers. They were brothers in arms, united by a common purpose. The landscape was unforgiving. Rolling hills gave way to steep ravines. The terrain was as much an enemy as the warriors they sought. Each step forward was a test of endurance, a challenge to their resolve. The Little Bighorn River snaked through the valley, its waters reflecting the cloudless sky. The river, calm and serene, was a stark contrast to the turmoil brewing within the hearts of the men. It was a silent witness to the unfolding drama. The day wore on. The sun beat down on the men, their blue uniforms stained with dust and sweat. The relentless heat was a constant reminder of the harsh realities of their mission. Each drop of sweat was a testament to their perseverance. The silence was broken only by the creak of leather saddles and the occasional cough of a horse. The stillness was unnerving, a prelude to the storm that was about to break. Every sound, every movement was amplified in the quiet of the morning. Martin felt a knot of anxiety in his stomach. He had been in the army long enough to know that silence was often a prelude to chaos. His instincts screamed at him, warning of the danger that lay ahead. The tension was almost unbearable. They were deep in enemy territory. The Sioux and Cheyenne were known for their fighting prowess. The soldiers were acutely aware that they were not the hunters here, they were the hunted. The dense foliage provided cover, but it also concealed the enemy. Their warriors were feared throughout the West. Martin gripped his rifle tighter. The stories of their bravery and skill in battle were legendary. The soldiers knew they were up against formidable foes, and the weight of that knowledge pressed heavily on them. He was ready. He was prepared to fight, but deep down he couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The sense of impending doom was inescapable. A shadow that loomed over the entire regiment. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through history. Word reached Custer. Scouts returned with news. They had been out for days, traversing the rugged terrain, eyes sharp for any sign of the enemy. Their return was swift, their expressions grave. They had found the Sioux village. It was massive. The sheer size of it was overwhelming, stretching far beyond what they had anticipated, larger than any they had seen before. The village seemed to pulse with life, a testament to the strength and unity of the Sioux people. The air crackled with excitement. The hunt was over. Soldiers moved with purpose, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. The battle was upon them. Each man knew the gravity of the situation, the weight of history pressing down on their shoulders. Custer, ever the bold commander, saw an opportunity. His eyes gleamed with determination, a fire that burned bright and fierce. He would crush the enemy. He envisioned a swift and decisive victory, one that would cement his legacy. He would secure his place in history. He divided his command. 3 battalions spread thin. Each group had a specific role, a piece of the larger strategy, a risky gamble. The men knew the stakes, the potential for disaster. Martin, a seasoned soldier, felt a shiver of doubt. He had been through countless battles, each one leaving its mark. He had seen Custer's recklessness before, but orders were orders. Memories of past skirmishes flashed through his mind, each one a lesson in survival. He would follow his commander. Loyalty was ingrained in him, a code he lived by. He would fulfill his duty. The tension was palpable. Every man felt it, a shared sense of impending conflict. Whispers of the coming fight spread through the ranks. Conversations were hushed, voices tinged with anxiety. Some men wrote hurried letters home, their words filled with a mixture of bravado and fear. They tried to convey strength, but the underlying worry was evident. Others checked their weapons, their faces grim, each click and clank a reminder of the battle to come. Martin tightened his saddle. He checked his ammunition. Every detail mattered, every preparation a step towards survival. He said a silent prayer, a prayer for victory, a prayer for survival. His thoughts turned to his family, hoping he would see them again. The sun beat down relentlessly. The heat was oppressive, adding to the already heavy atmosphere. The air was thick with the smell of sweat, horses, and gunpowder. The silence was deafening. It was a silence that held the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears. A silence that spoke volumes. It was the calm before the storm. A moment of stillness before the chaos. The calm before the storm. Each man stood on the precipice of history, ready to face whatever came next. Section 4. Custer's Last Order. Custer summoned his most trusted men, among them Sergeant John Martin. A wave of apprehension washed over Martin. He knew this was no ordinary summons. Custer's eyes flashed with determination. His voice was calm, but his words were edged with urgency. He handed Martin a message for Captain Benteen, a message for reinforcements. "Ride like hell, Sergeant," Custer barked, "and don't stop for anything." Martin took the message. He knew the weight of his task. He had to reach Benteen. He had to deliver the Custer's plea for help. He spurred his horse. He rode as fast as he could. The fate of the 7th Cavalry rested on his shoulders. The wind whipped past him. The ground thundered beneath his horse's hooves. He rode through the valley. He rode towards destiny. Section 5. A desperate ride. The landscape blurred into a frenzy of colors. The sun beat down on Martin's back, a searing reminder of the urgency of his mission. He pushed his horse harder, feeling the animal's exhaustion mirroring his own. Every muscle in his body screamed for him to stop, to rest, but he dared not disobey Custer's final order. "Ride like hell." The words echoed in his ears, a constant drumbeat urging him onward. He could hear the faint sound of gunfire in the distance, a chilling counterpoint to the pounding of his horse's hooves. The sound sent a jolt of fear through him, but he refused to let it cripple him. He had to reach Benteen. He had to deliver the message. The lives of his comrades depended on it. He rode on, a lone rider against a backdrop of impending doom. The landscape became a blur of brown and green, the once peaceful valley now a battleground. Fear gnawed at his insides, but he clung to the hope that he could make a difference, that his ride would not be in vain.